Very wonderful song. So I will read a little bit to bring up to the speed. We are reading the description of the Rasa dance, chapter 32 from Krishna book. Therefore, it is not possible for him to act irreligiously. He is transcendental to all activities and religious principles. He is untouched by the modes of material nature, and he is the supreme controller of all living entities, either in human society, in the demigod society, in heavenly planets, or in lower form of life. He is the supreme controller of all living entities and of all material nature. Therefore, he has nothing to do with religious or irreligious principles. So that's where we left yesterday. So we will continue. Sukadeva Goswami further concludes that the great sages and devotees who are washed clean of all conditional life can move freely even within the contamination of material nature by keeping Krishna, the Supreme Personality Godhead, within their hearts. I remember that it says that when devotees, even when we see come out from the clubs or somewhere, we should never think that they have went for the sense enjoyment. They must have some purpose to deliver some personality. So sometimes the devotees take the risk. In this way also they do not become subject to the laws of pleasure and pain in the modes of material nature. How then is it possible for Krishna, who appear in his own internal potency, to be subjected to the laws of karma? And this is the misunderstanding the people carry in their heart. They have not understood Krishna fully. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord clearly says that whenever he appears, he does so by his internal potency. Nobody forced Krishna to appear, only by his free will. He is not forced to accept a body by the laws of karma like an ordinary living entity. Every other living entity is forced to accept a certain type of body by his previous actions. But when Krishna appears, he always appears in a body. It is not forced upon him by the action of his past deeds. His body is a vehicle for his transcendental pleasure, which is enacted by his internal potency. He has no obligation to the laws of karma. The Mayavadi monist must accept a certain type of body, being forced by the laws of nature. Therefore, his claim to be one with Krishna or God is only theoretical. Such persons who claim to be equal with Krishna and indulge in the Rasa Lila create dangerous situations for the people in general. Krishna, the Supreme Personality Godhead, is already present as super soul within the bodies of the gopis and their husbands. He is the guide of all living entities, as it is confirmed in the Katha Upanishad, Nitya Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam. The super soul directs the individual soul to act, and the super soul is the actor and witness of all actions. It is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita that Krishna is present in everyone's heart, and from him come all actions, remembrance, and forgetfulness. He is the original person to be known by Vedic knowledge, and he is the author of Vedanta philosophy and he knows the Vedanta philosophy perfectly well. The so-called Vedantis and Mayavadis cannot understand Krishna as he is. They simply mislead followers by imitating the action of Krishna in an unauthorized way. Krishna, the super soul of everyone, is already within the body of everyone. Therefore, if he sees someone or embraces someone, there is no question of propriety. Some may ask that if Krishna is self-sufficient, why should he at all manifest pastime with the gopis, which are disturbing to the so-called moralist of the world? The answer is that such activities show special mercy to the fallen, conditioned souls. The gopis are also expansions of his internal energy. But because Krishna wanted to exhibit the Rasa Leela, they also appeared as ordinary human beings. In the material world, pleasure is ultimately manifested in the sex attractions between man and woman. The man lives simply to be attracted by woman, and the woman lives simply to be attracted by man. That is the basic principle of material life. As soon as these attractions are combined, people become more and more implicated in material existence. In order to show them special favor, Krishna exhibited this Rasalila dance. It is just to captivate the conditioned soul. Since they are very much attracted by the sexology, they can enjoy the same life with Krishna and thus become liberated from the material condition. In the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Maharaj Parikshit also explained that the pastime and activities of the Lord Krishna are the medicine for the conditioned soul. If they simply hear about Krishna, they become relieved from the material disease. They are addicted to the material enjoyment and are accustomed to reading sex literature. But by hearing this transcendental pastime of Krishna with the gopis, they will be relieved from material contamination. So how they should hear and from whom is also explained by Sukadeva Goswami. The difficulty is that the whole world is full of Mayavadis. And when they become professional reciter of Srimad Bhagavatam, and when people, without knowing the effect of the Mayavad philosophy, hear from such persons, they become confused. Discussions of Rasalila among people in general is not recommended because they are affected by the Mayavad philosophy. But if one who is advanced explains and people hear from him, certainly the hearers will be gradually elevated to the position of Krishna consciousness and liberated from materially contaminated life. We see the example of Prabhupada, I think. He was visiting and giving some discourse. So the family become acquainted with Srila Prabhupada, so they're there. So after a couple of days, Prabhupada stay with them. So the Mataji next day says, "Dear Srila Prabhupada, we want to hear the Rasalila." And Prabhupada responded, "I'm not qualified to speak on Rasalila." And Prabhupada never ever discuss this intimate pastime of Krishna in general mass of people. Another important point is that all the gopis who dance with Krishna were not in their material bodies. How the materialistic people will accept such a thing. Yeah, they are totally embodied in material contaminations. That's far beyond their comprehensions. They dance with Krishna in their spiritual bodies. All their husbands thought that their wives were sleeping by their side. Do this, and then you can have a ras dance. Let their material body sleep with their husband. Then you perform ras dance. The so-called husband of the gopis were already enamored by the influence of the external energy of Krishna. So by the dint of this very energy, they could not understand that their wives has gone to dance with Krishna. When then, what then is the basis of accusing Krishna of dancing with others' wives? The bodies of the gopis, which were their husbands, were lying in the bed. But the spiritual part and parcel of Krishna were dancing with him. Krishna is the Supreme Person, the whole Spirit, and he danced with the spiritual bodies of the gopis. There is therefore no reason to excuse Krishna in any way. I think this point will enlighten so many new devotees who joins. After the Rasa dance was over, the night turned into the Brahma Muhurta, the night of Brahma, a very, very long period as mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. The Brahma Muhurta takes place about 1.5 hours before the sunrise, and it is recommended that one should rise from the bed at that time, and after finishing daily ablutions, take to spiritual activities by performing Mangala Arati and chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. This period is very convenient for the executions of spiritual activities because nobody can call you, nobody can disturb you. That's the time. Actually, Hanuman Prasad Swami Maharaj, when I was speaking to him and I was saying we are chanting from 2 to 7 a.m. at that time. Now we expand until 8 o'clock. And Maharaj said this is the best time for chanting, 2 a.m. to 7 a.m. So somehow or other Krishna is so kind to help us wake up early in the morning. There are so many devotees that they join by 2 o'clock, So wonderful. This period is very convenient for executions of spiritual activities. And when that auspicious moment arrived, Krishna asked the gopis to leave. Although they were not willing to quit his company, they were very obedient and dear to him. As soon as Krishna asked them to go home, they immediately left and returned home. Shukadeva Goswami concludes this episode of Rasa Leela by pointing out that if a person hears from the right source of the pastimes of Krishna, who is Vishnu himself, and the gopis, who are expansion of his energy, then he will be relieved from the most dangerous type of disease, namely lust. If one actually hears Rasa Leela, he will become completely free from the lusty desire of sex life and elevated to the highest level of spiritual understanding. Generally, because they hear from Mayavadis, and they themselves are Mayavadis, people become more and more implicated in sex life. There are so many Guru has appeared that they promote the sex life to get liberation behind the bars now. The conditioned soul should hear the Rasa Leela dance from an authorized spiritual masters and be trained by him so that he can understand the whole situation. Thus, one can be elevated to the highest standard of spiritual life. Otherwise, one will be implicated. Material lust is a kind of heart disease. And to cure the material heart disease of the conditioned soul, it is recommended that one should hear, but not from the impersonalist rascals. If one hear from the right sources with the right understanding, then his situation will be different. So Sukadeva Goswami has used the word Shraddha, one Shraddhanavita, for one who is trained in the spiritual life. Shraddha or faith is the beginning. One who has developed his faith in Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Spirit Soul, can both describe and hear. Sukdev also uses the word anuspunyat. One must hear from disciplic succession. Anu means following, and anu means always. So one must always follow disciplic succession and not hear from any stray professional reciter, Mayavadi or ordinary man. Anusunyat means that one must hear from an authorized person who is in the disciplic succession and is always engaged in Krishna consciousness. When a person wants to hear in this way, then the effect will be sure. By hearing Rasalila, one will be elevated to the highest positions of spiritual life. Haribol. Sukadeva Goswami uses two specific words, Bhaktim and Param. Bhaktim Param means executions of devotional service above the neophyte stage. Those who are simply attracted to temple worship but do not know the philosophy of bhakti are in the neophyte stage. That sort of bhakti is not the perfectional stage. The perfectional stage of bhakti or devotional service is completely free from material contamination. The most dangerous aspect of contamination is lust or sex life. Bhaktim Param devotional service is so potent that the more one advances in this line, the more he loses his attractions for material life. This is the test to measure our spiritual advancement, that we should become slowly free from those materialistic way of life and thinking. One who is actually deriving benefit from hearing Rasalila dance surely achieves the transcendental position, and he surely loses all traces of lust in his heart. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur points out that according to the Bhagavad Gita, the Brahma day and Brahma night are period of solar years expanding to 4,300,000 multiplied by 1,000. So according to the Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the Rasa dance was performed during the long period of Brahma's night. But the gopis could not understand that. In order to fulfill the desire, Krishna extended the night to cover such a great period of time. Now one may ask how this was possible. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur reminds us that Krishna, although bound by a small rope, could show his mother the whole universe within his mouth. How was this possible? The answer is that he can do anything for the pleasure of his devotees. So similarly, because the gopis wanted to enjoy Krishna, they were given the opportunity to associate with him for a long period. Now, who can dance the Brahmas night? 4,300,000 years, time 1,000. Then have a ras dance. We don't have a fraction of that, even the life longevity. So this was done according to his promise. When Krishna stole the garments of the gopis while they were taking bath at the Chirghat on Yamuna, Krishna promised to fulfill the desire in some future nights. So in one night, therefore, they enjoy the company of Krishna as their beloved husband. But that night was not an ordinary night, it was a night of Brahma and lasted millions and millions of years. Everything is possible for Krishna, for he is the supreme controller. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 32nd chapter of Krishna, descriptions of the Rasa dance. So we will be starting chapter 33, Vidyadhar liberated and the demon Sankhasu killed. Once upon a time, the cowherdmen of Vrindavan, headed by Nand Maharaj, desired to go to Ambikavan to perform Shivratri performance. Shivratri is coming up this Saturday. The Rasa Leela was performed during the autumn, and after the next big ceremony is Holi or the Dol Yatra ceremony. And between the Dol Yatra ceremony and the Rasa Leela ceremony, there is one important ceremony which is called Shivratri, which is especially observed by the Saivites or devotees of Lord Shiva. But sometimes the Vaishnavas also observe this ceremony because they accept Lord Shiva as the foremost Vaishnavas. But the function of Shivratri is not observed very regularly by the bhaktas or devotees of Krishna. Under the circumstances, it is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam that the cowherd men headed by Sri Nanda Maharaj Ambikavan out of curiosity. Ambikavan is situated somewhere in the Gujarat province. Ambikavan is said to be situated on the river Saraswati. Yet we do not find any Saraswati river in the Gujarat province. The only river there is Sabarmati. In India, all the big places of pilgrimage are situated on nice river like the Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, Narmada, Godavari, Kaveri, etc. So Ambikavan was situated on the bank of Saraswati, and all the cowherdmen and Nanda Maharaj went there. They were devotedly began to worship the deity of Lord Shiva and Ambika. It is the general practice that wherever there is a temple of Lord Shiva, there must be another temple of Ambika or Durga, because Ambika is the wife of Lord Shiva and is the most exalted of chaste women. She doesn't live outside the association of her husband, and after reaching Ambikaswan, the cowherdmen of Vrindavan first bathe themselves in the river Saraswati. If one goes to any place of pilgrimage, his first duty is to take a bath and sometime to shave his head. That is the first business. And after taking bath, they worship the deities and then distribute charity in the holy places. So according to the Vedic system, charity is given to the Brahmanas. It is stated in the Vedic Shastras that only the Brahmanas and the sannyasis can accept charity. The cowherdsmen from Vrindavan give cows decorated with golden ornaments and beautiful garlands. The Brahmanas are given charity because they are not engaged in any business profession. They are supposed to be engaged in Brahminical occupations as described in the Bhagavad Gita. Namely, they must be very learned and must perform austerity and penances. And they must not only themselves be learned, but they must also teach others. Brahmanas are not meant to be Brahmanas alone. They should create other Brahmanas also. If a man is found who agrees to become a Brahmana's disciple, he is also given the chance to become a Brahmana. The Brahmana is always engaged in the worship of the Lord Vishnu. Therefore, the Brahmanas are eligible to accept all kind of charity. But if the Brahmanas receive excess charity, they are to distribute it for the service of Vishnu. You know, Hanuman Prasad Swami Maharaj visiting Houston, and whatever the money he received, I don't know how much he kept, but I think all the devotee gave him, he turned into the temple about $8,000. He said, my quota, whatever it is, I accept. I don't know how much, very less. I know the life of Maharaj, very renounced. So the Brahmanas are eligible to accept all kind of, but if the Brahmana receive excess charity, they are to distribute it for the service of Vishnu. In the Vedic scripture, therefore, one is recommended to give in charity to the Brahmanas, and by so doing, one pleases Lord Vishnu and all the demigods. So this is the perfect time to stop. We should be punctual in our service. So we'll stop here, remembering those wonderful pastime. A lot of instructions we can find from those, reading those books. And also I have given the assignment that please spend some time, open the notebook, on the left-hand page, you write all these activity that you are doing. Maybe it may take 2 pages to write down the activity which has no relations to Krishna. Please do this homework. And then on the other page, you write the activities that you are doing for Krishna. What Rupa Goswami says in the Nectar of Instructions, give up those activity which has no relations to Krishna. So the long list we have, just delete one by one. Start with simple. You know, like yesterday, I was so tired, and Ram Taneti Prabhu, he just stopped by at 1:30, and I was still working in my garden. And he just, without notice, he came and he said, oh, Prabhu, you are working? I said, yes. And then still in the afternoon, I came home and I felt that I should still do, because they are going to bring me the stone that I would like to spread it out in today or tomorrow. So I will have to prepare to remove all the weeks on my back also. And that was left. So in the evening, so yesterday I took 4 times showers. Every time I work, I sweat like anything. So the point I was making is those activity that has no relations, takes simple one. Like when I started in the evening, I have said this, my realizations. You know, you just say that I'm just gonna do 2 foot by 2 foot cleaning, that's all. But once you do 2 foot by 2 foot, it will look so beautiful compared to the weed area, right? So then you will impel, okay, let me do a little more. And you go on like this, and I completed half of the yard in the evening. So yesterday I worked for maybe 4.5 hours in the yard. And yeah, I got the Miracle Grow fertilizer. It's good. The best fertilizer you can find is available at Costco. And it's the combination is 24,816. I think it's $24 for 12.5 pounds, but wonderful. So you can spread it if you think the rain is gonna come, or you can mix with the water. It's water soluble. So you can mix in the water and pour it on the plant, and it can give instant result. So I'm gonna do that as much as I can. I have to finish the half of the backyard first. So reduce your materialistic activity. Start with something that you can easily give up. You know, just select the one that is really you don't want to do it. Just delete it and write the timing, how much time you are spending for this thing. Uh, I'll post the picture of that. It's called Miracle Grow, all purpose. You can use on all the plant roses. One brand works for everything. All purpose and water soluble. And formula is 24, 8, and 16. It's a green and yellow box, 12.5 pound. It's available in Costco. So when you pick up those and then write down the time, how much time you convert into the positive thing for Krishna one by one. Suppose something you are spending which is useless, say 15 minutes even a day, then use that 15 minutes in Krishna's service. Slowly and slowly, the first page should become very, very less. And the other page should get filled with so many activities. That will show you how much you are making advancement by simple this exercise. Please do this exercise. I ask the devotees, as anybody has made, only one devotee, Manmathanan Prabhu, made that list. Why don't you all do this exercise? So simple, and it will be open your eyes how much time we are wasting. Management of our time is really important. All our Acharya has exhibited this quality. Look at that Bhaktivinoda Thakur's life. 8 minutes, he will finish his shower, cleanse his body, take breakfast and get ready. Think about it. How productive we need to be. We can't become lazy if he wants to become free from the cycle of birth and death. So anyway, with those thoughts, I would like to appreciate those devotees who joined from different part of the world to give us the support. And I would like to offer my humble obeisances at the lotus feet, who joined from Connecticut, New Hampshire, Aurora, Illinois, Cartondale, New York, New Jersey, Virginia, Boston, Boise, Atlanta, Tampa, Phoenix, Austin, College Station, San Jose, Portland, Dallas, Detroit, Chicago, Naperville, Philadelphia, Charlotte, Baltimore, Baton Rouge, Alachua, Orlando, Jacksonville, Ohio, St. Louis, Loganville, Georgia, San Diego, Calcutta, New Delhi, Toronto, Alaska, Maine, New Orleans, Ottawa, Laguna Beach, and Vancouver. Vanchakalpatarubhasya kripa sindhubhaya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So the devotees who has to perform some other activity, they are free to leave. And the devotees who wants to hang around, we will be chanting for another 1 hour. So if you want to chant with us, you are most welcome. But if you need to do something, you are also most welcome to leave. And if Krishna so desire, we will looking forward to see you tomorrow at 1:45 a.m. if you can join. If not, then you can join at your scheduled time. Thank you very much.